Three, two, one. Welcome everyone. Today's another day.
Hello.
We're doing another session. Ali and I, you know the go. Got another guest here today.
Yep.
Very thankful for this guy actually. He's a man of many talents and skills.
Thank you.
His journey, his story is quite unique. So that's sort of what we'll be diving in today. I'd like to introduce everyone to Kim DeLeon, he goes by. Welcome Kim. Nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here actually. Like I said earlier, this is my first podcast, so
yeah, well,
Even though you run
today's
your
all
own
about
day.
you, bro. Today is all about you.
keen to tell everybody about what's going on.
Yeah, man. So I guess we'll start from obviously
Who are you?
like who are you? Who was
What
that
do you
guy?
do?
Like if I was in
I
high
don't
school,
actually really know you, so
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Jonah didn't
I
know me
guess.
till like last week.
very very recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like let's take us back. If we were in high school, who would Kim be if I was in your class, bro? Are you like the guy that's a joker? You know what I mean?
I think I was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
I like to be the joker.
Yeah.
That was me throughout high school, and
Yeah.
but being the nice guy, I think.
Yep.
Was me the nice guy joker? Like
Yeah,
I'll have a joke, but I won't.
You
I
have a
won't-
crack at someone.
I'll
roast
have a
them,
crack
but,
at someone, have a laugh, but then I'll always stick up for like the bullied
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, yeah.
But
I love it.
I might be the bully sometimes, but like
I think we're always like that. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a guy thing, but yeah, I can totally agree. So yeah, I guess let's rewind, bro. Let's fucking
how
rewind.
far back do you want to go?
Oh man, let's start from
When you're born.
year
So
We're gonna be here for a while. So I guess
start
we'll
from year 12.
start from year 12. Like what
I'll
happened?
go from year 10. I think
Okay,
that's
sure.
that's
Oh, is that
when
where it started? Okay, there
I
you
think
go.
Maybe you're
that's
comfortable
I think
there.
that's
There you go.
where things were becoming like this is what I want to do in the future.
Sure.
I'll go back to year 10. So I went to St. Agnes,
Yep.
which ended in year 10.
Yep.
And then you obviously moved to Loyola, St. Mary's and stuff like that. And I just wanted to, I was always in music.
Yeah.
I was learning guitar at like 8-9 years old.
Yeah.
So I was always like that. And I was never smart. I was
Right.
you see average student.
Okay.
So it's like, I passed.
Yeah.
So I was like, I needed another outlet to
Yeah.
kind of get me over the line.
Yep.
So music it was. So the fortunate thing about going to St. Agnes is it's multicultural and everyone's loves music. So that guy always brought a guitar.
Yep.
So I did that and then loved the music class. I was
Yep.
always in electives for year 9 and 10. And then I moved on to year 11 and I didn't really want to go to the local ones.
Yep.
It was nothing personal. I was like, I wanted to try something different. So I moved to Nepean, which is in Emu Plains,
Yep.
where I knew 0 people at that school,
Right.
like not one soul.
Dang. Yeah.
So that was for me was a challenge. Going from new school, obviously being with the guys from St. Agnes since I was like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So yeah, moved on to that, and then year 11 and 12, I was heavily focused in music because it was a performing arts school.
Yep.
Got into that. Fell in love with like sound engineering and audio and stuff. So recording stuff and producing things that was where it started, and everything started there. But then year 12 came, and then music came, and that's when you like kind of talk about where you want to be in the future.
Yeah.
Those HSC talks and ATARs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're gonna
So
start, bro. Yeah.
when you thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah. Hard out.
Yeah. So
They did a
mean-
good job scaring us, by the way. Yeah.
no,
That's-
for
Yeah,
sure. But I
sure.
was like, man, if I don't get over like 60, 70, I'm gonna like be picking up rubbish off the street
hard out, bro.
for a job.
You guys thought that?
Yeah.
I
I
was just on a
literally
drop
thought that.
kick. I just knew that I was going to be like
Accepted
really
it,
bad.
huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
It was really bad. I was just like, yeah, nah.
Getting into uni was like a big scare. Like,
Yeah.
what if I don't get in? Like, there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
plan B.
And then you're
really.
trying to understand the ATAR you need to get. Fuck, is that
Yeah.
even achievable and all
Yeah.
that shit? Yeah.
So I was in subjects that were just like scattered, bro. Like I was in like
Random ones.
Yeah, I was like obviously doing English and math, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I wasn't at a Catholic school, so there was no religion.
Yep.
So I did community and family studies.
Oh,
Mhm.
CAFs. man.
Yeah, I did
Oh.
CAFs. I did CAFs because like my mates were in there. I was like, oh, I'll do this one. It was either that or like some other weird, like agriculture, I think.
Yeah, some like
Something weird. So I did that, and then I did biology,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I ended up dropping because like,
Me
bro,
too.
like, I was like,
biology.
Bro, I was sitting there. I was like, no
Yeah,
way.
this is not
No,
me.
this is not me. I'd rather
It
have
sounds good, but it's
yeah.
so
So
fucking-
like, I think you had the option to drop it because you had to do only like 10 units or whatever it was at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
4
yeah.
subjects. So I did that, and then did English. I was like in the average English class, so not advanced, but not ESL.
yeah.
So I was like in the
You were,
middle,
like, there,
and
yeah.
then I did music. But yeah, like the best thing about it was so music related around that school where like it wasn't like you had to spend your recesses at the music class
Right.
to get time. So I did music there, and we had performance times and stuff. And then that kind of like opened my eyes up to performing
Yeah.
and doing all that. And then we'll fast forward to like the end of year 12
Yeah.
where I was deciding what I wanted to do. And then this is when we had a talk and someone from the Defence Force came to high school. I briefly told you about this. And I was like, I'm joining the Navy.
Yep.
Like, that's what I'm going to do after high school. And then from the beginning, so this was in like February of year 12.
Yep.
And then pretty much trained the whole year. Like, I would start school at like sometimes at like 7:55. So I was waking up early to go for a swim at Penrith Pools before I went to school. So I was at the pools by like 6:30. I'd swim for an hour and then go straight to class.
Right.
And then I would go for a run after. So I was like consistently training to be in the Navy, and then did all the testing and stuff. Did really well actually, because you do this thing called the JOR, which is like a job opportunities like request, I think it's called.
Yep.
And it comes up with all the things you want to do. And I had things from like the average A-level entry to things that an officer would do.
Right.
But initially I wanted to do that, and I was going to get into like communications because I love like sound and like tech and stuff. So everything was successful. Did like my assessment day, my medicals, like physicals, psychologicals, everything
ready to go.
It was like a few weeks from like for like leaving for training. And then in the same year I was still playing footy as well. So I was playing local footy, and then in the same year I played my first game for the Philippines Rugby League. So I went up to Queensland and played for the juniors.
Yep.
Which was a great team. Like, I played with Payne Haas, who's now like the most highest paid young player.
Wow.
He's like on a multi-million dollar contract for the Broncos.
Wow. What was his name?
Payne Haas. He played for New South Wales as well last year. Big boy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we played, and that was cool and stuff. And then from there, I was playing like a lot of footy, and I was tagging stuff, and had some injuries come through. I had like prior injuries in my knee, but then footy took its big effect on it.
Right.
Did that and kind of made me have to give up the Navy for the time being. So this
blessing
was
in disguise, though, I feel like.
Yeah,
right?
so that's where everything was domino affected from. Yep. Like, it's, if I pulled out one thing from then till now, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Dang.
So that's just one little thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I pretty much couldn't go to the Navy.
Were you at the time? Were you gutted? We're like, fuck, now I can't do Navy. Like, what was your mindset? Like, this is what I wanted to do. I trained for this. Like, so I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like you train so hard for something and you can't do it. Yeah. And it's like, it's not like you can find another way to do it. So you can't do it. Like,
you can't do it. Yeah.
You physically cannot do it. So I was pretty gutted. But I've always been positive about things. Sure. Like, plan B. Yep. Always plan B, no matter what it is. Yep. I think a big part about the Navy was that it was security. Like, right. Financial and job security. So I think 100%. That was a big part. I was just like, I just want to make my own money, some good money, and like be away and travel.
And that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
And then that kind of set me on a different path where I ended up just sticking to music. I was like, if I'm not going to do anything, it's going to be music. Yep. So we had auditions for universities and stuff. Yep. I did AIM for a little bit. Yep. Audition, got in, and then I was like, I did the audition and stuff and went there, but the trek to uni was like a trek. Like, it was like you have to get up in the morning, get like the 6:30 train to make like the 8:30 class for 2 hours, then go back home. So your travel is like as long as your classes are. So I was like, I'll stick to something local. Auditioned for Western Sydney in Kingswood, and thankfully got in early entry before HSC even started. So it's like September of year 12. So that was like we said earlier, I was like the biggest scare. So once I got that letter saying you're in, I was like, sweet. Don't have to do much with HSC. HSC came about, gave it my best. gave it my best.
It is good. At least you gave it your best.
Gave it my best. I was actually in Philippines when I found out the results, so I had to tell my family.
Oh my gosh, I was in Phils too.
Yeah, so I was in.
Nice.
I was in Philippines, so I found out, and like obviously the internet's not the best over there, so you're like
you're just like there sitting waiting.
Yeah.
Fuck, that would have been a trip, but yeah.
I think I got like 53.
That's good.
God, I didn't even get one, but yeah.
53, but I was just like,
fuck it, I already got accepted.
Personally, like disappointed because I was like, my sisters are like in the, like, I think the middle child got like 92 or something.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
And the other one was already, like, she's the oldest one's 7 years older, so she was already a nurse and stuff. And I was like, oh shit.
Probably copped it, eh? Did you cop it?
No. They were like, oh no, you'll be right. Like, because I had my uni preferences sorted and stuff. So I think that was a big help. And then started my uni degree at in 2015 we would have been first year out.
Mhm.
So loved it. Met like some of my best mates through uni.
Yeah.
Some of my best mates now are from uni. My
No-
band
yeah,
from uni.
Yeah.
Did all that, and that was like from the first year of uni to third year of uni was just one phase. Like that was another chapter.
Yeah.
That didn't really change much. I was going to uni, but then when I turned 18, I started gigging.
Yeah.
So I started playing gigs around Sydney.
Yeah.
My first gig was with a few people. I think I met Carmel, who I was gigging with. It was a great singer actually. So
Nice. Yeah.
shout out to her. She just got signed
Ooh,
by
nice.
Universal Music, I think it was.
Wow.
So she's always been. Oh, I always knew that she was gonna be there, and then we gigged for a while. So that was fun. We were doing like bars and clubs. We went from like doing stuff in like the Rocks to doing like an old man's pub in Windsor.
That's crazy. So you were with her on like the come up.
Oh no, she already
right.
did some stuff. She did X Factor at like 15.
Dang.
So she sang like a Whitney song at a young age.
Dang.
So I was working retail at the time. So I ended up just like reaching out to her and like linking up and be like, let's do some gigs.
Yeah.
Because I didn't sing and she didn't play instruments.
Yeah.
So this is perfect. And it's a duo. It's like
nice, easy.
Yeah. So we're doing like 4-hour gigs.
Nice.
So these were cool. I did that through uni to make some money.
Nice.
Was working retail till I turned about 18 because I was like the 97 kid and how everyone was like 1996.
Yeah.
So I was younger compared to everyone. Like I turned 18 halfway through my first year of uni.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So I turned 18 and then got into like gigging at clubs and bars and stuff. And
Nice.
then I started working in hospo. I actually worked at Lone Pine and Rudy Hill.
Yeah.
Which,
Shout out Lone Pine.
Shout out Lone
Yeah.
Pine. The guilty pleasure kick-ons. But no, that was good, man. Like that was a friend of mine got me that job actually. Yasmin, who's also doing really well now. Like
Nice.
she's like big time model. Like
Oh, wowza.
in Australia or international.
wow.
Like
yeah,
model
cool.
models for like Iconic, Boohoo, and like.
Wow.
So
That's
shout
crazy.
out to her, and she's on that grind
Wherever
too.
she is, bro.
Well, she's living in Brighton, Les Sands now.
Oh no.
So,
Hectic. Yeah. That's sick, bro.
So shout out to her, and she got me the job. So some young kid who's never had hospitality experience.
Yeah.
I started working in bars, and I think that kickstarted my like kind of love for hospo.
Yep. Okay.
So I started doing that and like doing that kind of stuff, and then we'll fast forward to like my last year at uni where I met a good friend of mine, Taylor, who I went to uni games with.
Mm-hmm.
And from uni games, she worked at Ivy. So from that, we were at uni games, and I was comfortable at Lone Pine, like loving life.
Yeah.
And she's like, come work at Ivy. And I was like, oh, it's in the city. And then she referred me for the job, and I was fortunate enough to be successful and got the job.
Yeah. Nice.
And that's where shit hit the fan.
That's where
Just
it like accelerated. Right?
accelerated. Like I've pretty much just been non-stop till then.
So what year was that?
2017.
Nice.
Right. Okay.
Mid 2017.
Okay.
So
Yep.
what's that? We're 2020 now. So about 2.5 years.
Yep.
And that's where things just went
Bananas,
zero
bro,
to
yeah.
100. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's when I was like, all right, cool, let's do
Because
this.
it's a lot more fast paced.
Yeah.
Shit gets done a lot quickly.
So I was 6 months left into my degree while I was working at Ivy at the time. When I first started, and then. Bro, I was doing crazy hours. Crazy
from memory,
hours. You know what I mean?
you were-
Like you, bro. Like
yeah.
one thing stops, another one goes.
Yeah.
So I was doing uni from like 9 to 5, then would leave uni, travel to the city to work Ivy from like 8 p.m. until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Then go back to uni and repeat that.
Man.
For
What
how
like
long?
6 months.
yeah.
6 months. 6 months.
2017.
So
Yeah. So for the rest of 2017, for the rest of my degree
Right.
from July to like November,
Mm.
I was uni work.
And then Ivy and fucking
Yeah,
and
and-
you were heavily involved in that nightlife.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you were-
also at the
Mm.
time I was working for Submerge. Remember that little shop in Mount Druitt?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So I
it's
was
coming
working.
back.
I was
Yeah.
working there across Rebel Sport.
Yeah.
So I was doing uni, working there, then going to Ivy.
Wow.
So like was like doing everything. But like I'm probably like you guys. I need to keep busy.
yeah,
Mm.
that's
I-
crazy,
I
man.
need to keep busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, did all that. And
How did you do all that? Like, it's obviously, I wouldn't say it's a mindset thing, but
Yeah.
how did you lock into, okay, I need to do this. This is my schedule. I just got to do it. Or like, this is something I have to do. You felt obligated because
Yeah.
it's something innately within you, right? Like, it was
yeah,
something that,
so it was stuff like that. With the good thing about uni was with the music degree is that if you had a background in music, you would get by.
Okay.
I still applied myself fully and stuff, and would do all that. And then we had it pretty spread out. Like people have like big days at uni, like 5 different subjects.
Yep.
We had 4 units, and it was like pretty much like 1 unit per day.
Oh, okay.
So like that helped with time management. So we do like the lecture between 9 to 11, and my tutorial would be like 12 to 1.
Right.
And then that gave me the time between like 1 to 5 to do assignments or go to work.
Right.
And then I'd come back at night. Like that's when my mind works the best. So like I'd have all-nighters at uni.
Yep.
And we had a good support network around us, like all the boys, like Aaron,
Ossa,
and,
boys,
and all that.
God bless those boys.
Yeah, like so shout out to them. We all helped each other, which is it was a good laugh. Like we all had our strengths and weaknesses, but it was always someone different. Like with Aaron. Aaron was like a great bassist, and like he would like just jump in on tracks, and then Ossa was a great composer. So I'd reach out to Ossa for composing, and I was doing sound. Yeah. So we all like switched up.
Yeah, that's sick.
But then so that I met them through there. And then, where are we? We're in 2017, and I'm finishing up my degree. Yeah. And this is where 2018 starts, and everyone's like life after uni kind of thing, like doing their masters or getting jobs. And I was like, I think I kind of left it too late to know what I want to do after thing. Okay. So I was like, I'll give myself till like I was like 2018's coming. Yeah. I'm not going to do my masters. I said I'll work in hospitality. Yeah. And then I'll just make some money through that. Yeah. And I'll do gigs. So I said all of 2018 I'll do as much as I can and make some money, and then by the end of the year, if I'm happy with where I'm at, I'll stay. Yeah. And then if I'm like not content with where hospital is and stuff, then I'll start my masters. Yeah. So I was going to do just like a masters in education and just do that because it was comfortable. It's like job security at the end of the day once you get a full-time job. 2018 happened, and what happened was I left Ivy in like November of 2017 for a bit. Yeah. Because I had a girlfriend at the time. Yeah. So I had a girlfriend at the time, and it didn't work out working night shifts. Yeah, right. Okay. Because I couldn't see her, and then that came. So I ended up working at Platypus. Yeah. So I went to Platypus 9 to 5, worked there full time, and then I don't know, it just something flipped in my head like a switch. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not challenging myself. I'm not too happy with where like the day shifts are at. And there was nothing about my partner. Like she was great. Of course, like, she's still great now.
100%, yeah.
And then we ended up separating. Yep. And she went on to do her thing, and I went to do my thing. Yep. And she's actually engaged now. So congrats to her. Congrats to her. That's what she wanted. Yeah. Which is good. She's happy now. And then I moved on to go back to Ivy. Yeah. I was happy there, had a good set of friends around me, and it was fun. Like I was a young, like 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid or whatever it was, and I was just like living my best life. Yeah. And March came, and I wanted to pursue being more than a bartender. Yeah. So I went on to like a leadership role and started becoming a team leader. But this is what built me to be like the leader that I am now with work, is that the support network around me was insane. Like the things that they taught me with leadership was like second to none. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, did that and became a team leader at Ivy and did all that. And 2018 was also the year of my travel. Yes. So I remember you telling me. I turned 21 and then went to America for about a month with my friend Jess. Yeah. She also turned 21 the same year. So we went to America. We road tripped around there, drove from like San Fran to Vegas and to Yosemite and stuff like that. Like just ticking off like bucket list and adventures, and went to Mexico and then did that for a month. And then I came back and got like a conversation with my my group operations manager. Yes. And he just like kind of took me for a walk and he's like, what do you want to do in the future? Where do you see yourself with the company? Yeah. I was like, honestly, right now, I was like, I don't know where I want to be within like in the next like few months, but I'm still happy with where I am now. And he's like, would you ever consider a management role? And I was like, I was 20 at the time, and I was like, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I've never thought about it, just because obviously my age and stuff like that. And he's like we like what you've been doing and stuff, and there's a role that's come up. It was an assistant operations manager role. Yep. And he said it was pretty much keep doing what you're doing. If you want to take this opportunity, he said, we'll have you on board, but you still have to do like the whole process, like the interview and stuff like that. I was like, well, like, you're still grateful for it. He's like, this is not a job offer. This is a job opportunity. Yep. which in turn was a good thing. Rather than being complacent and be like, oh, fuck, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
I'll take the job.
Yeah.
He's like, you've got to prove
Of course.
that you're good for it. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. Did the interview and stuff and managed to get the role. So I became an assistant operations manager at the Royal George, which is in the Ivy complex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much, that was like, it was food, it was beverage, and it was gaming. So it's like everything you needed a hospital to get by.
Yeah.
Did that and was grinding for that. I was doing like 4 p.m. till 4 a.m. shifts.
Right.
And like just doing that. And like for a long time, I sacrificed a lot of things to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Missed a lot of friends' parties and stuff. And
Sure.
and Aaron's house parties.
You got to do what you got to do. It would have been hectic to see you, but I totally get it, bro.
Yes. No, it's good now. But missed all that. And then just killed it there for a little bit. And then that came in like September of 2018.
Yep.
And I already had a trip booked to Europe with my sisters and my sister's partner. So we were going to Europe in December.
Yeah.
And work were cool with that. So I took the trip, and like I said earlier, if I wasn't happy by the end of December 2018, I would go into my masters.
Yeah.
But then I was pretty happy with the job with Maryvale and working around Ivy and stuff. Like I was around a good set of people.
Yeah.
Pay was like half decent for a kid fresh out of uni.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was constant, and like the perks were insane.
Yeah.
Like,
you tell me, yeah, bro. It was good.
Changed the game for me.
For a person at that age, bro, like those perks, like you would have never thought you'd have access to.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like the boys would come out with me, and like I'd be like, yeah, drinks on me. It's like $6 for a vodka. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff like that's like
it's so good. Yeah,
bro, I'd be eating out at like fancy restaurants, and it's like 50% off. So like,
so good.
like I said, it's cheaper for me to go out.
And you would have never thought, like you would have never thought.
No, never,
exactly.
never. Like if we're going back to year 12, I would have still been in the Navy.
See, that's what I mean. That's,
yeah,
it's crazy when shit happens like that. Yeah.
And then Europe came, and I wasn't even actively looking for a job. I was happy with where work was, and I was just going to progress to that, get to that operations role, and then eventually take over my own venue.
Yep.
Is what I wanted, and I was like, yeah, sweet. And then Europe came, and I was like, just fucking around on my phone.
Yep.
And then I was
I
like,
remember you telling me this. Yeah,
I was like, oh, like this would be a good time to get my LinkedIn sorted, because like that's what you do when you become an adult. Just get a LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys have one,
but I only got one recently.
But that's like legit.
It's
that's
legit.
like you put in your job, and like it's you can't
People
even
hit you up.
It's legit. It's not like, hey bro, what's going on? It's like, hey, nice to meet you. This is me. Like, let's e-connect or whatever it is. So,
kind regards.
Yeah, kind regards, and like email signatures. So I got into LinkedIn, and like that's when like they do like those algorithms and stuff, is where you put in like your interests and what your current job is, and they send you job opportunities
for that specific.
For that specific, and for me, I put in that I had a music degree, and like I had operational experience, and then I was in, what country was I in? I was in
Sweden, right?
Norway.
Norway.
I was in Norway. I was in Norway at the time, and like I was just going through my phone, and this one came up, and it just clicked. I was like, I want that.
This is perfect for me.
And the title was Live Entertainment Venue Manager.
Fuck, that's you.
I was like done, and that was just the title itself. And then when I clicked it, it was the venues like Enmore Theatre, Metro Theatre, Factory Theatre.
Here we go.
I was like, whoa, let's go, like
let's go, let's go. That's me, baby.
Yeah, so I was like, let's go, and then I didn't have a resume on me because I had my phone on me, so like I was like, didn't have shit.
Yeah,
and I never really needed to have a resume. Everything's been referrals, like retail. I was working in the precinct anyway. They gave me the job. Ivy was through a referral. Like Lone Pine was through like Yasmin.
Yeah. And
then Ivy was like a bare minimum resume just so it was on file.
Yeah.
And then this came, and I was like, this is the first official time I'm making a resume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in Norway, did all that, and then I emailed the guy off my phone, and I was just like, listen, I'm really keen on the job. I just don't have anything on me right now. I'll get something to you soon. And here's my background and stuff. And he emailed back, and he's like, yeah, like keen to chat more about this. Just give us a call when you're back in Sydney.
Yeah.
But I was still like 4 weeks out of Sydney. So I was like, and the job application was closing before I landed back in Sydney.
Oh,
so, and then this is going back to now. I was flying to Scotland.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was going to Edinburgh, and this is going back to, if you take a piece out, bro, it's like it's all fucked. I met up with a friend in Edinburgh who I met working at Ivy.
Yeah.
So I met her there, and she's from London, so she's just studying in Edinburgh. So I reached out. I was like, hey, like we were catching up anyway. I was like, can you just bring your laptop for me? Like I just want to type up a quick resume.
Yeah.
So I just literally typed in, I was like, resume builder. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Templates.
Yeah, I was like, resume templates. And I was just like, oh shit. And then I found the best one that got me my good resume is you typed in your qualities and traits and they built the sentence for you.
Oh, wow.
For your bio. So I would literally
it's like
put
a generator.
I would literally put in music, and then like 3 qualities would be like driven and stuff. And then it came up with this like blurb, be like, a driven professional with 3 years experience in the hospital. And I was like, bro, I was like,
shout out to that website.
I was like, shout out to, bro, it's probably like resumebuilder.com or something. But if you need it, just Google resume builder. Like 100%, it's like saved my life.
Oh, that's so good.
So I did that and typed it while I was having coffee with a friend, and I didn't want to be rude. So I was like typing and we're having a coffee, and this is like in Edinburgh. Like I don't even know this area.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I was like, fuck, like, but I needed this, so I got it done. Did all that, and then I sent it off to him, and then I was like keen on it, and then he got back to me. He's like, yeah, we'll have an interview when you get back. So there's a bit of reassurance that the resume pulled off and stuff, and he was like, yeah, we'll have a chat when you get there. I finished off my travels around Europe, and then called him like the day I landed. Yeah, I like got home and called him. I was like, hey, I'm back in Sydney. Would love to chat whenever you're free. This was like a Saturday or whenever when I landed. And then we teed up something on like the following week, I think the Monday or something. Did the interview with him. And then from there, he gave me a call back and he's like, yeah, like things went well. And he was happy with what I did. And he's like, well, have a chat to the directors. So the COO and the CEO. Yeah. And he brought me back a few days later. And I was just sitting in I don't know if you guys have been to the factory theatre, but there's like a little courtyard downstairs.
I haven't been, but yeah. Yeah,
so it's like a little courtyard downstairs and the office is upstairs. So I was hanging out downstairs because I was like, oh, I'll be punctual and I'll be early. Yep. And I'll be early just so I'd rather just be on time than
100%.
Have to rush.
Understandable, yeah.
And then, so I sat there and then I was just waiting. I didn't know anyone there at all as well. Yeah. I didn't even know there was an office there. And then a few guys walked past. One other guy walked past with like jeans and runners and like a black shirt. So like something like Steve Jobs something would wear. Yeah. And he was a CEO. Oh. And I didn't know yet. But like I was friendly to him. He walked past and he said hi to me. When I was sitting down, I was like, hey, how you going? And then he walked upstairs. I knew he worked there, but I just didn't know what caliber. Oh, wow. Right? And then I turned the corner into the boardroom and he's sitting there. And he's a CEO. So he owns the company. Yeah. And he's a sole director as well, like a sole owner. So
that's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then did the interview. It was great. Like this was probably one of the best interviews I've had. It felt more like a conversation than it did an interview. Yeah. So they were very welcoming, which sold the job for me a bit more as well. Like I knew it was a bit reassuring that I was going to work with some good people. Yeah. And then was successful with the job. And then ended up working as an assistant as an assistant operations manager for the group, which is the Enmore Theatre, Metro and Factory, and the Sydney Comedy Store as well is what they own. Nice. Did all that, and then was pretty happy with that. And at the time that I got this job, I also applied for the Marsden Brew House. Right. So this is before they opened. They were just developing. They were just developing, and it's
going way back, bro.
The same resume I built, I sent to them, and then it generates a cover letter for you too. You just have to fill in the company. How good is that, bro? Stuff like that. Like these words were good, bro. It was like, and with my proven experience, I would love to, I'd love to contribute to the continued growth of your company. Stuff that I would personally never have come up with. Yeah, right. So I ended up getting the job offer with Marsden Brew House. Yep. Which actually offered a better salary than the job I was in at the time, with the same job that I just interviewed for. But I was like, something in me was like, nah, like I need to take the venues one, the music one. Yeah. Because like a big part of me was like, I needed something closer to home, hence the Marsden Brew House. And then I was like, nah, like I need to take a risk. So I took the one I'm in now, and honestly, it's like the best decision I've made in a long time. Right. And to this day, probably the best I've made, and like, but it's been hectic from now and from then until now. Is like.
And that was what year?
March of 2019.
Okay, so just
over a year. So about 14 months ago.
And then ever since, you've just obviously been slogging it, you know.
Yeah, so I think there was one more chapter in that where 2019 came. I was like just living my best life, working gigs, and working with like artists that like I never thought I would see. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like I saw people like Alan Stone, who was from Blues Fest. He came down, like just artists that like you would listen to. Like on the trains and growing up and stuff, and I did that, and then what year was it? Oh, what month was it? It was about August, September.
Right.
I had no clue that the company I'm in now was buying another venue.
Wow.
So they bought Max Watts in Moore Park. Wow. Which is across the Hordern Pavilion.
Yep.
They bought that, and like, I'd never been there before besides one time in 2015 where I saw Vince Staples.
Oh, right.
So I saw Vince Staples, and it was a great venue. Like, loved the gig there. And
it's a small venue, right? Max Watts? It's not as big as Hordern, though.
Not as big as Hordern, but it holds about the same amount of people the Metro Theatre does. So it's about...
Oh, okay.
The capacity is 1,500.
Yep.
But 1,200 is what's comfortable there.
Cool.
So you can breathe a little bit.
Yep.
They bought that, and I was driving somewhere one day, and I got a phone call from the CEO, the Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, how you doing? And I was kind of scared. I was like, he never calls me.
Oh.
He never calls me. I was like, fuck. Like, what did I do?
I'm not prepared for this.
Like I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, but when you see the police, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. The reflex.
He gave me a call, and he's like, listen, we've just taken over this venue, and he's like, what do you think about being the venue manager and taking over the license and being the licensee there? And I was like, fuck, like,
big
how do I react to this? Like,
yeah, right.
I've like managed venues before as the venue manager, like the Metro and stuff I've done before.
Yeah.
But never my own venue where I've had to take over and build a module for that venue.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Like, this is like, I was like, is it going to challenge me? Am I going to be happy with it? And it did, and I took it, and it was like it's a lot of work. Like, this place has already pre-existing staff, has venues there, had gigs booked already that we didn't book. So we were dealing with like amateur promoters and stuff and like stuff like that. And but it was good. Like September, October, November for me was massive, like massive.
How's the, obviously, with your, bro, what a story, by the way. This is crazy, bro. It's
like,
literally,
just trying to find the words to explain the story. Like I said, I've never been on a podcast.
No, but it's bro, you up to now, like, still well done. Like, the story I've never heard. It's very unique. A lot of people will get a lot out of this, right? Because you faced a lot of hurdles, and obviously you shouldered a lot of responsibility. Like, how is that feeling for you? Like,
it's honestly,
you were up for the challenge, obviously, but were you like innately, everyone's like scared of challenges? So
I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I threw myself in the deep end.
Yep.
I'd be lying if I said I was comfortable and confident with it. I wasn't. Like, I was like, holy shit, like,
this is some real shit.
And it's like, my ass was on the line, you know what I mean? Like, I had to come up with modules and work with my CEO and stuff on how we're going to work the venue. And I was just like, holy shit, this is a big role. But the thing is, I've come a long way from where I came to that point. Yeah. And I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't challenge myself to do it, because I've always been about like helping other people get to where they want to be. Like, and hopefully this chat here, this podcast, kind of tells people around me or whoever's listening, is that you can do it. Like, that's like, you can.
Bro, I've got the best analogy for this, right? And maybe you can relate. Yeah. So any situation like yourself, when you throw yourself in the deep end and you're kind of just going with the flow, figuring shit out as you go. Obviously the support's there, obviously. Yeah. But the one thing in the analogy I like to use, it's like Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber. Yeah, bro. Like, you're in there, it feels like 10 years or whatever it is, but like the experience that you get, it's only been like whatever, like 6 months, but you feel like you've worked and like you've been involved in it for much longer than that. The experience that you get is unlike something you can experience at uni.
It's crazy, bro. Like the 2 years that I've had, that have just passed, 2018 and 19, have been bigger collectively than my whole life has before that. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've done like some cool things in my life where I've been happy to do, and like traveling and but the things that I've done in the last 2 years have been like life changing.
Bro, like the story in itself is you were meant to go to Navy, bro. Yeah. You were meant to go to Navy. That didn't end up happening. You were gutted. You ended up going to uni. Yeah. Made good mates, obviously, and then you learned Pine, you were doing retail, all that, and then you got that opportunity, you went traveling in the meantime, and then you came back, got that opportunity. Now you're managing a venue yourself, and you got tons of responsibility. So I mean, what would be that thing if someone's like kind of, they have any apprehension there? Like, obviously it takes a certain person to be able to do that, but like, I feel like anyone can do that. Yeah. It's just like, is it a confidence thing? Like, how were you so confident in yourself at the time, knowing that obviously you don't know shit? Like, I don't know shit. Yeah. You know, people have that misconception, right? So
I think firstly I'd start with the support around me. Yeah. Is who you surround yourself with will get you to wherever you want to be.
100.
and like I'll mention a bit later with what's happening with life now, but like the support network has been insane from day one.
From day dot,
like the managers I've had with Maryvale have taught me things that I take into life now.
Yep.
And a big one of them was my head of operations at Maryvale was like, we had a busy day one time and we just sat down and he's like, listen, things are going to be okay. And like things like just like when we're working in hospital, like you run to get things going.
Oh, 100%.
And it was Melbourne Cup, which is it's $1 million day for the venue.
Yep.
And I still remember this, and I think about it every time I was running to somewhere, and he's like, just settle down, things will work, everything will happen, because you running, you save 5 seconds of your time, but you look flustered.
Yeah.
So I said, just have a bit of confidence. He walked with his shoulders up, like that Conor McGregor walk.
Yeah.
He walked to where we needed to be, and I was like, fuck, he's right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to run anyway. Like, you're going to get there. You're only saving 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was a big part.
It's a good reality check, bro.
Just to calm down and
especially in the pace that your environment needs to work at, like always.
Not even that. I think the message I took was just calm down.
Yeah.
Think about things first.
Yep.
And next one would be if someone was to do, like, wanted to be something, I think sacrifice.
Oh, bro, yes.
Sacrifice is probably the biggest.
Preach, bro. Preach.
Yeah, I think the sacrifice part is a big part of that. Like, I sacrificed, like, just going to, like, sometimes some family events. Like, we would have Sunday dinners at home. I'd miss a lot of them. I'd miss a lot of, like, friends' parties and stuff. But I try to compensate by, like, you know, showing up a lot and then sharing my rewards with my friends and,
100%.
like, and bringing them out to the clubs and stuff. And I think sacrifice is a big part, but also willing to lose something.
Yep.
Sorry.
No,
Willing to lose something is a big part. Like, the same manager told me a short-term loss is a
long-term gain.
Yeah, a short-term. Yeah, long. What was it he said? He was short-term loss is a long-term gain.
Yeah, 100%.
So that for me, I was just like, if I lost something in the first like few months, just because of something, it's gonna be something a bit more.
100%.
It's like a loss leader, you know what I mean? It's like investing in a company. It's like you throw in $50. It's picturing that $50. People picture it like you've lost $50.
Yeah.
Other people picture it's gonna be $50,000.
Yeah.
So
bro, and to like further to that, it's like, okay, when you're there and it's a short-term loss, everyone, you know, I would expect the people who are close to me would understand. Like, like, cool, I'm not with you there. Sorry, I missed it, blah, blah, blah. But it shouldn't be any different a year from now if I catch up with you. It wasn't personal or anything. Like, fuck, I'm doing me.
Yeah.
Like, your real ones would understand that, bro. So I totally understand.
It's all about growth as well. And you guys probably both know it as well. That growth is a big part. It's where you want to be.
Sacrifice is
so but
huge,
you'd have it with like PT and stuff, is you see someone from their foundations to growing, and that's what you want to be part of, is their growth. And probably if you compare it, it's like a PT would be like your manager as well. You tell that person what they need to do to get to where they want to be. Yeah. So that my manager did that for me. He like, they built me as a person, not physically but mentally and emotionally.
And the good thing about that is as well is because you're now at a point where you can share your experiences. Yeah. Like, you can share what you've learned. You've been through the ringer, bro. Like, you've seen the fucking what happens, bro. Yeah, you've seen it all. I'm pretty sure.
I've seen some pretty like messed up stuff and some great stuff, you know what I mean? Like being in venues, and we work with a lot of raves and parties and heavy metal stuff, like stuff like girls, like obviously like overdosing and stuff. Like I've seen all that, like but like stuff like before that is what I've learned is to deal with it, is to take a step back and deal with the situation and think like long term and short term, you know what I mean? Like if we're talking about achieving goals, people think, oh, you need a long term goal, that's all you need. But I think you need both. You need a long term goal, but you need short term goals to achieve that. Because at the end of the day, if I wanted to be in the music industry and like work with a label and stuff, I still need the short terms to reach that.
I like that you say that, because like people right now, like I got into the thought that, okay, we have to focus on now. Like that's just it. Just focus on now. So like they say, like, power of now. But you have to also think like, okay, I'm grateful for my past. I can recognize what I did in the past and like what I have accomplished. I focus on now and do actions, and then I focus as well on the future. It's like past, present, and future. It's like all interconnected. Same goes with like the long term and the short term. Like it's good to have a long term goal, but also break that down into short term goals.
It all leads into it. Like it's like a ladder. Like there's still small steps to get there. But I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've learned. Is just like you need to set goals and measure them. And that's a lot of the things, like a lot of me is from learning stuff that I learned in hospital, you know? Like I was doing this thing called a PSP, which is a personal success plan. And that for me put things in perspective that I could take everywhere, where you set 3 goals Then you set 3 actions to achieve them.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you set 3 ways you can measure them. There's no point like...
What's that called again?
A PSP, a personal success plan.
Okay.
So it's catered to you and you do it. You're held accountable for it.
That's good to know. Yeah.
So it's like it's goals. It's not like a SWOT where you have weaknesses. It just focuses on what you can do as a person.
Right.
So the measurement part was the biggest part because like that's how you measure your success is no matter what way.
Yep.
So with OSPO, it was like we want to raise revenue. So this is the actions we're going to do. And we measure it by a year-on-year growth.
Oh, wow. Okay,
so,
that's good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. But sorry we kind of went on a sidetrack.
Bit of a tangent, yeah.
Yeah, but you're finishing up the story. So you started going, I think where you finished off was September, October last year.
Right, yeah. So I was getting into venues. So I finished and got into venues and then took over that. And like I said, it was in the deep end.
Yep.
And then I got through it with some help. And then we built a module that suited the venue. And then we started running good gigs. And then this is what I said about the measurement of success is that we were running like amateur gigs, bro. Like we didn't book these ones. I was running like people like I'm used to running like 1,000 people plus gigs. Right. Then we were doing like 200s, 300 people, things I'm like I was comfortable with.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I think this will pass. So I had a few more gigs that we're going to be the last few ones for the old company that booked them.
Yep.
And so I worked through them and had some big hurdles and stuff. Like I had one event, which is a Bollywood event. So I had a Bollywood artist come in, and this was like one of the worst experiences I've had. We were dealing with promoters and stuff, and they were amateur promoters. They weren't really gig runners. Like they were just like, oh, let's put this show on because we got the money to do it.
Yeah, right. We don't have to drop names. I don't want to get you in trouble. But
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
No, I'll drop now. No, fuck him. No. Like it was a big lesson learned. But yeah, like things like that have come into play where I've had to deal with that stress. But like essentially, long story short, the venue we could only fit 1,200.
Yep.
But these guys sold 1,800 tickets.
Wow.
So it's 600 people outside who didn't really speak much English.
And you had to deal with that. That was on you.
Well, I had to deal with that. It was my venue. Wow. Like, people were speaking to the manager. I've got to face it, and you know what I mean.
Such a man.
And I was
you were copying it.
Yeah, I was copying it left, right, and center, bro. And and they were like, we want our money back. And like these guys were paying premium, like $120 a ticket and stuff. So there was 600 people, and this is with like license. I had police there too. Wow. So police were on this was like my first big gig there. Yeah. And police were on my ass about, had riot squad there, had everything.
Oh my god.
So they were there and they were like, we're gonna shut this down and stuff and like that's a big thing in
that's
music.
Crazy. I see shit like that, whatever. It's on a Facebook video or something, and then I'm just wondering who the fuck's in charge.
Yeah.
That's like that's you. That's talking about you.
But it's either I either come out well or I'm done. Yeah. That's me done.
Dang.
And then the police were there and they were like, you gotta get this shit in order. And I was like, oh shit, all right. So then that's when management came into place and I got all the team set and security in place. We ended up calming it down, but it still had its backlash and we had all those meetings, but we ended up developing
That's the nature of the industry though. Is that, would you say? Like that it happens.
Yeah, it happens and it's all how you can get yourself out of it.
Right.
But that happened. So that was a big hurdle. And then from then on, it was like smooth sailing. Yeah. Worked some of the best gigs and have been with some of the best artists. Like, okay. December I had Earth Gang, which is these guys are part of Dreamville. Yep, Dreamville. So J. Cole's label, and then had a few more cool ones there. In January I had, was it January? February I had JID. Yeah. Same from Dreamville. Yeah. And then he had some cool ones on his. Met him. He was really cool. Yeah. A really good one as well. Earl Sweatshirt came on stage with him.
Yeah. Wow.
So Earl Sweatshirt hasn't appeared in Sydney for a long time.
For a while.
For a long time, and he was in and out of
since
rehab.
Odd Future days.
Odd Future, yeah. Since Tyler was here, I think. So he came out and he spat on 2 verses with Jid on stage, and I was upstairs watching it, which is cool. That was another cool one. And then we did, what other gig did we do? We did St. John. Yeah. So St. John at the time wasn't as blown up as he is now. Yeah. Like this guy he just dropped his song with Future. Yep. So this is another one. Going back to your podcast, Jason was the photographer and videographer there. So
shout out Jason.
Yeah, shout out Jason. So that was a cool thing. 2 kids out west. Running
and then you linked up and you're like,
so and he's done some big things. So shout out to Jason, bro. Like he's another one. I'm like,
what a guy, that guy.
I want to do like travel like that and stuff. Like Post Malone, bro. Like
100%.
I haven't worked a Post Malone gig, but like I would love to.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, we did that, and St. John was cool. And the week after was Ari Lennox.
Right.
Ari Lennox was cool. She's one of the most genuine artists I've worked with.
Wow.
And she was real cool. She stayed back, and then she just like hung out, and then they actually were like, they love the area, like not this area, but like the Sydney in general.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, oh, where can we go to kick on and stuff? And bro, they kicked on at the cliff dive. So Ari Lennox had her own little booth at the cliff dive.
Sick.
But yeah, the boys pulled through for that one, and yeah, so at the cliff dive, and that's pretty much been my like journey from now until then is like,
yeah, cool.
Yeah,
obviously, you know, with what's going on, it's your industry has been kind of impacted.
Yeah, well, Ari Lennox was like March 13th, and that was my last gig.
Oh, right. So how, like, what's happening now with that? Like, is there a timetable? Have there been talks now?
It's all government.
Still early days? Oh, is it government? Right. Okay.
It's all government things. Like, if I could run a gig now for X amount of people, I would. Like, I love seeing 100%. Gigs. Like, I do it for free.
Yeah.
But right now, there's a lot of uncertainty around it because it's changing pretty quickly. So it's going from like 10 people to 50 people or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
But we're taking things as they come. So we don't have a date yet where the next gig is.
Okay.
Which is okay. Like, we find it's like a silver lining to it where I can focus on a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's really, it's been like 2.5 months of like uncertainty with gigs.
But in saying that, man, I feel like this time people have cultivated a lot of better habits, even crafted their own sort of thing, like your business now. Like, we've taken a full-on approach with this whole podcasting thing. Same as you with your white. Tell us a bit about that, by the way. What we've got you here.
So White Canvas essentially is a project that I came up with while I was in ISO. Because for 3 weeks straight, I was just at home, like doing nothing. Like, I set up a man cave, had a bar fridge in there, bought Call of Duty, like all the things that everyone did. And I've always wanted to do something to work with artists and performance. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't have anything planned at the time. White Canvas was never a thing at the time. And then first, I just wanted to be creative and be a space. And
that's you, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to make some music and meet some creatives. And then I was going to start my own thing, actually. Like, I was going to find a space, open my own thing, and have my own creative place. And I was like, now's probably not the time to do it.
Right now.
Because JobKeeper wasn't a thing yet. I was like, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not max out the credit card. But and like, I found a place. I was like, $300 a week, and I was like, fuck, like, I don't even have an income. So I was like, no, like, it'll be a future plan. But I'll work on my music at home. Had my studio at home, and then Ossa, a friend of mine, who you know, so he goes, shout out Ossa. He's probably passed out right now.
Rest in peace. What a guy, man. That guy.
No, he's probably hungover. But he was setting up his own thing as well, like a podcast with his mates.
Yes.
And he met up with Esky. So Ian, shout out Esky.
Shout out Ian, bro.
And they met in this exact space we're in now.
Yeah.
And then Ossa was like, because I spoke to Ossa about my business plan.
Yep.
He's like, I've got something going as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, you should link up with Esky.
Right.
And I've heard about Esky before. I've seen his tracks, obviously being in the area.
Same, yeah.
And then, like, we teed something up real quick. He's like, we're meeting with Esky to discuss our business on Wednesday. Do you want to come by?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'll come by. And came to Stonecutters. And I've been here before because I got my haircut here before.
Yeah.
And then pretty much talked to Esky about things and about my
this is very recent, mind you, like
4 or 5 weeks ago.
Exactly,
5 weeks ago.
Sick.
So I talked about my future plans and my experiences and stuff and what I want to do. And that's what I loved. His response was great. Like, he wanted to jump on board and kind of get me in here as well. And I spoke to Kev, who owns Stonecutters. So shout out to him too.
Shout out Kev, yeah.
So he was here. We spoke about things, and I spoke to Ricky. From Open Source. I had a similar concept to Open Source about like music and the area and stuff like that. And I was like, I might as well work with like-minded people than start my own thing.
100%.
You know, I feel like that's a big thing around, is that people have their own things and they want to be better than each other and stuff. And I was like, I'll better myself with other people. Yeah. And then spoke to Ricky. Me and Ricky clicked real well. And we spoke about things, and he's like, move your stuff in like next week. Like, we'll start working.
Fuck, love it.
So like, I think this was like a Friday, and then I moved in on Monday.
Wow.
So I've just got my desk in the corner there.
Yeah. How's it been working for you so far?
It's the most creative I've been in a long time.
Right. It's good, bro. This place is actually really cool. Meeting like-minded people, people on the same sort of vibe.
The thing is like, I'm so creative, and that's what I took away from COVID, is that if I had work on my mind, I wouldn't be as creative as I am now.
Right.
And I've produced more tracks in the last 5 weeks than I have in the last 4 years.
That's crazy, bro.
So
that is crazy.
Like, stuff like that is, I'm working on music, I'm working on me, I'm working on other people.
Yeah.
And that's where White Canvas started, is from then when I moved in. I was like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do something with the community. So essentially, an intro to White Canvas is it's a series that has seasons.
Yep.
And then season 1 has 5 episodes.
Yep.
And the episodes are 2-part episodes where we talk to the artist for about half an hour or so.
Yep.
And we get a performance from them. But I want to take a different approach to the interview and podcast kind of thing.
Yep.
Like everyone's doing their great podcast stuff, but I also like doing things differently and taking a different approach.
Yep.
So what we do is there's a stage here and we set it up. And essentially, White Canvas, the name itself came from a white canvas. It's blank.
Blank, yeah.
It's the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Like you do whatever you want with it. And White Canvas will start out as the episodes will start out with an interview where we talk to the artist about their foundations, their influences, their experiences, and their journey. So similar to what we're talking about now, and about their advice, because we want to target like the up and coming artists, not just the youth, but up and coming artists of Sydney and specifically Western Sydney.
Yeah,
is so that we can target a kid who's producing out of his house on like a laptop to be like, oh wow, if he can do it or she can do it and made it there, how can I do it? And it also opens up this space to a lot of people, because not a lot of people know that there's studio space and stuff around here. So it opens it up, and we've done some great stuff around here. Like Open Source is doing big things for like with Unspoken on Mondays and highlighting those artists, which I've been fortunate enough to work with Open Source and see that. And then we talk about their process and stuff, and then they'll finish that up, and hopefully that they give advice to the up and comers, and then they'll get a performance. But the performance itself is like, I'm going for a really like minimalistic aesthetic look. So like, mic dropping down and stuff, and but I'm targeting the first season to be like pretty big artists. I won't mention it yet, so you got to tune in for that. But like we're targeting big ones, and I'm kind of tying in work with that. So I've reached out to a few friends, and fortunately enough, some people I met along the line. One of the guys from one of the directors of marketing at Universal Music Australia has helped me out and put me in touch with his domestic team. So we're working with that, and just a lot of managers around. Like the support there has been crazy. So and then
that's sick, bro.
Even other people from like niche productions and stuff, and have been helping out. So we're targeting big artists to begin with, just to be like, we're here. Like, if I can get these guys and talk
big
about it.
Big first impression, 100%.
Big first impressions, but people will be like, oh wow, like that's
premium product.
Premium product, and like not all these artists from out west are out west, but they've had good journeys. Sure. And I've seen that come up through the scene. So if they could just talk about that, and we use it with the guys out here, is insane, which is good. I actually kick off on June 16th with the first artist. Sure. Okay. So June 16th. That's a Tuesday in a couple of weeks. But this one would be good. So like be sure to tune that one. This is
100%.
This one's a local R&B female singer.
Right. We'll definitely tune in. We'll definitely give it a shout out and plug.
Yeah. So it'll be sick. It's good. It'd be good because she's also local, and she's still up and coming. Yeah, cool. And we'll do a performance with her, and then it's just going to kick off from that.
But it's been good because I obviously got in contact with this space. Like a lot of people don't know there's a creative space, and obviously leveraging off people's sort of skill sets and stuff like that, because a lot of what we were lacking, a lot of people here know how to do. So it was one of those things. It was perfect for us to sort of connect and stuff like that, because obviously we're here to help share sort of our skill sets and stuff like that. So it's been cool, man. Like, appreciate you putting us on here. This place is awesome, bro, and great story, by the way. It was phenomenal, bro. There should be a part 2 and 3 to this, bro, because there's so much there.
We can do it on like a segment of White Canvas.
We'll
flip the switch. I'll interview you guys.
Oh man, it'll be the first. I'm like,
we got no performance, but
that's alright. That's the thing about the seasons is like it's a different approach to every season. It's just not repetitive. So
different taste.
Putting it a bit out here like that, I should, but I'll do it anyway because it's a good insight to it. So season 1 is artists and performers, and season 2 are like managers and like big dogs in the music industry. Right. So they're not even artists. That's just going to be an interview series. So I'm going to talk to people, hopefully, that I've worked with other artists. Like we're talking tour managers who've worked with like Kendrick Lamar and ASAP and all that. Huge. So hopefully they got on board. If they're listening to this, please jump on. Please. I won't mention any names, but
You know you are.
You know you are.
You know who you are. Yeah, for
You
sure,
know you
for
are.
sure.
So and then season 3 could be talking to just creatives around the area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I get you guys on board, season 3, then,
Yeah, for
then
sure.
we'll do it. This
Man,
part 2.
this has been so good because I feel like in light of everything that's happened right now, it's been a bit of a blessing because I feel like everyone, and even us, but I haven't told you, babe, but a lot of people have messaged me saying they've been doing this over this period, and I'm like, bro, that's good. I don't know if that's because of me or the stuff that we've been sharing, or they've been listening to us, but yeah, like,
bro, you tripped out when I told you I was listening to your podcast all the time.
Oh man, bro, people, that's what I mean. Like everyone's, it's good because
shout out to everyone listening to this.
Shout out to everyone listening, bro.
It's good, and it's a great, like, credit to you guys as well. It's like,
I appreciate it.
It's a good podcast. I don't know if like people say that all the time, but like it's enough time for me to just tune in. Like, I'm on my drive to work is about 45 minutes. So like, you know, sometimes I listen to it then. And even just sometimes, like, I've just tuned into your one from last night. From the night before.
Like the recent one with Jose.
Yeah, Jose.
Yeah,
so
right.
I just finished. So my drive from Aaron's house home, I listened to the first 15 minutes or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So no, but it's good.
Thank you.
It's been good, man, and I'm just happy to, and like literally last night we were helping like a new startup, helping them set up because I knew exactly how hard it is. We don't know. I was trying to figure this stuff out. So when I came in, literally plugged play, got some audio stuff from Kmart, you know, just little pieces here and there. Got them set up in like literally 10 minutes, and then we did a practice run because I wanted to get him comfortable speaking and stuff like that. So it was one of those things. Like, I'm happy to share that, and I'm glad I was able to do that.
He went out of his way.
Yeah, shout out to those girls. They gave me a bottle of wine. I wasn't even expecting it, but yeah, it was just cool, man. Like, helping people because people want to start shit. Like people do, and it's one of those things. Like your ability or your lack of knowledge shouldn't stop you because
for sure.
we were all like that. We didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to do this shit, but like we had to figure. We wanted it that much. We had to figure it out. So
I think before like we sign off because we're making sure we're on time here now from now on.
Part 2 is coming.
Part 2 is, it's on the come.
Like why are you doing what you're doing?
Oh, bro, please share that.
Honestly, I know it's to help.
What's in
like,
there?
I know everyone's like, I want to help people, but like, what's that drive that like?
Honestly, it's simple. I'm happy.
It makes you happy.
I'm happy.
I'm happy.
So that's the selfish reason.
Yeah.
Everyone has that. Like me, I love helping people.
Yeah.
I'm happy, bro. Like I could have done anything after uni or whatever it was, and I always work in the moment where I'm happy. Yeah. Because if you talk to me a year from now, I might be a teacher. I might be teaching high school. Yeah. But if you ask me if I'm happy, then I say yes, then I've succeeded.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think that's a big thing what I do. But it's also helping people, like you said. Helping people is a big part of what I do. And
you get that fulfillment.
Yeah, hopefully that kind of comes through and people notice that. And like this is just I'll reach out to people out there. If you're listening now and you need help with music or anything creative,
DM us, DM him,
DM the guys at Bless, and like
we're not gonna buy it. Like that's the thing, man. Like we do want to help people.
Yeah, and obviously like stuff like that it's never the issue with money and stuff. If you want to come in and just sit down and talk about music and you just want to consult, or like just life in general, like I'll happily help out.
It's just like the like-minded people. Like there's very few. It's like when you find someone, you just fucking hold on to them because it's like the world's hard. What we're doing is hard. It's like we want to hold on to those people. So
we were taught to do it ourselves, be alone,
figure it out on ourselves. That's like, bruh, like that's the wrong mindset.
There's like people out there that are willing to help, and
I think if you're happy, it's you know what I mean. Like
we're happy. You're happy. I'm happy that you're here.
Do you know what I mean? It's probably you guys with the podcast. Like you guys are happy doing it. Yeah, it's not like you never was like.
It's like you slog workout like Monday to Friday, and then you come here. It's extra work, but we don't. This is what we want to do. This is what we love, bro.
It's a hobby now.
It's a hobby now.
This is legit what we do on like a day to day.
We love these people. Yeah, this is man. Like pretty much last night before you shut up, I was saying I'm like, what we're doing right now is like a topic for a podcast. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. You just have a conversation, bro. But great story. We've got to wrap up now. But great story, bro.
There's
definitely going to be a part 2.
Yes, for sure.
Incredible story.
Whether it's on here or on his
wherever.
one.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean, bro. Like, thanks for sharing. A lot of people are going to get so much from this.
Appreciate it.
You'll plug in your social.
Did you want to plug the socials?
Oh yeah. Let's just go. I'll just go my Insta. Sure. Just kim.deleon_ is where I'm at on Insta, and White Canvas is whitecanvas.collective. Yep. And that's just that's the plugs for there.
We'll plug it all into the description. But again, thanks for coming on board today.
Time goes quick.
Yeah, this is an hour, but hope you guys got a lot out of that. Thanks again to Kim for coming down. But we'll wrap up now and we'll take it offline. But thank you all for listening.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.